every time I have a runner, I fly out from Pretoria to come this side here. And just being here, spending time with the horse in the parade ring, I think the build-up, when you get in that parade ring and you see your competition, this one's looking up your horse, everyone's looking at the challenges. I look forward to that moment every time. I think there's just a nice adrenaline. You're walking with your trainer to the grandstand, go watch the race, the horse go down. It's every moment, doesn't really matter what race it is, you know. But one thing I can say is I'm really looking forward to that moment where an opportunity be given to us that's in the entertainment industry to change the views of how racing people see the game.
It's been an absolute feast of podcasts over the last couple of weeks. Well, it's just got better, and it's going to continue to get better. We sit here on a Monday, not our regular slot of recording Thursday. We sit here on a Monday because, as I said to you before, when we get guests from out of town, whatever we've got to do to get them onto our podcast, we certainly will do. It gives me great pleasure today, again, not great pleasure today without Andrew Harrison. I mean, Andrew needs to really sort his diary out because we're missing our co-host and friend, Andrew Harrison. But I'm alone today, and I'm with a very, very special guest, a friend of racing, a friend of the music and entertainment world, and just a friend, full stop. It gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome to the In the Box Seat podcast for this week, none other than the Groove Master, DJ Jazzy D. How are you?
Firstly, I want to say thank you very much for having me here. Such an honor to be featured on one of the best programs out on the net. And I'm not just saying that, we do watch the show.
Thank you. And Andrew is adamant that he's old, he's old. He doesn't know technology, Andrew, because he's adamant that people don't watch the show. Now you've just proven it. I told him, look at the hits. We get thousands of hits.
Yes, you'll do.
Well, it's lovely, DJ Jazzy, to have you with us, and to spend the next half an hour, 45 minutes to hear about what makes you tick, and just thanks for making the time and changing your schedule to come and sit with us.
Thank you for having me.
Where are you based? Where do you live? Where's home for you?
Home is Pretoria.
Okay.
That is where everything happens from, and I basically just spread my life from that point. Okay. Everything happens from Pretoria as being the base.
Okay, so Pretoria is the base. Which I speak to a couple of people that live in Pretoria. It's lovely because it's not right in the hustle and the bustle of Johannesburg, but it's quick to get to Joburg if you need to.
Yeah, quick access.
Yeah.
I think Joburg is very, very fast and very advanced. Sometimes you just want to be away from the bustle, so Pretoria is quite cool.
Joburg is your, at least Pretoria rather, is your base. Family. Talk to us about your family.
Yeah, most of my family is also based in Pretoria. They are living in areas such as Laudium and Easterus. That is where my life started, in both those communities. My schooling was done in Laudium, and my holidays and the days I used to look forward to was in Easterus.
Okay. And DJ Jazzy, do you have any kids?
Yes, I've got 2 kids, a daughter and a son, and I'm fortunate that they love racing as well, so they're going to follow in Daddy's footsteps. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, your love for horse racing came way after your love for music and the entertainment industry, is that right?
That's right, yes. So, you know, when I was young, my parents used to go to the course, and those years we were only allowed to be in the inside track where they had a parking lot. And I'm talking about the years of your Gosford Parks.
Okay.
You would be in the inside track and you would only see these beasts going past. You know, so it was always a passion. You fall in love with these big 600-kilogram horses running past you, and you never got to find out more about them. You only knew that they would run past you.
Yes.
And as the years went by, you just wanted to get more information about how they go on. And I think that's certain things my parents never know about the game. I think back in the day, playing a pick six and a place accumulator was the best thing for them. They just wanted to get that bet on.
Okay.
But not knowing the other side to racing.
And there is such a huge other side to racing. And when you talk to ladies and gentlemen that have got involved from an owner's perspective, which you have done, I mean, that's a whole different ball game, isn't it?
Definitely. I think a lot of people, when they hear horse racing, they immediately just think about the gamble part of horse racing. And unfortunately, you do get the odd people that always says, isn't horse racing rigged, you know? And once you get into the sports and see the different categories that you can fall into, it just opens up such a different world, you know? And I think maybe one day there should be a documentary which displays the different parts of racing.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's your love of horse racing, and we're going to talk a bit more about that later on. But your love of music, your love of the entertainment industry came from a very young age. Tell us about that.
So I grew up in a place called Club Bel Air, which is currently the oldest nightclub in South Africa.
Okay.
And it was a family-based place. We should go there weekends when the club was on. I used to watch my uncle DJ Glenn performing, and you just fell in love with how he was the main guy deciding what song to play to change the mood of people, you know, make them happy or just hype them up. And at that time, it looked like he was a superhero to me, because I found it being so divine that he could play one song that can just change your mood and make you happy. You know, he had that power of making any song a hit. And I just longed that one day that I would be put in that situation that I could follow his footsteps, yeah.
Sure. There's, as I said to you a little earlier on when we started the podcast, we do jump around a little, but I did go and read up a story, you know, that there was a friend. Was it a friend or a family member? You unfortunately were involved with that friend in a car accident in Indonesia, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
That was a long time ago, was it?
Yes, that was 2006, I think, yeah,
Okay.
2006.
Okay.
It was a year after that I released my first album. So my
Okay.
first album was released in 2005. There was a song I did was called My Lady Soul, which is a massive song right now.
Yes.
And the accident happened exactly a year after that, yeah.
Okay. You've called one of your racehorses My Lady Soul, haven't
My
you?
Lady Soul, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, as I said, we'll get to talk a bit more about that as well. What is your actual name?
Jazzy Diodora.
Jazzy Diodora.
That's it.
Okay, so Jazzy Diodora is your actual name, and that's. How did you get the Groove Master? I mean, that's obviously, you know, all entertainers have got a nickname, or I don't know what you call it.
Look, I think in this industry, there's so many artists you're going to meet around the world. I think there's a very popular DJ called DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yes.
And at the time when I started on this DJ Jazzy D adventure, I needed to find something that I could add to my name which would make me different to DJ Jazzy Jeff. Or there was this guy called Jazzy B, who was an artist for a group called Soul to Soul. So just to make myself totally different from them and people to differentiate that I'm a different type of artist, I chose the word Groove Master because I actually get involved with the people whenever we do a party to make sure that the vibe is electric, and Groove Master was the word that fit.
Just off the top of my head, I've obviously been to many weddings and functions and parties, and the DJ's there doing his bit, and you can, I say you, DJs can get inundated with requests. Does that irritate you?
Yeah, to a certain level. I mean, I'm at that point right now where I just tell people, look, if you want to book me for a gig, you must know what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to give you the best that I can do.
Yes.
And sometimes I feel that a lot of people want to be the DJ. If you are, for example, let's talk about a trainer, a guy that trains horses. You can't go and tell a trainer what to do, right?
Correct.
The same with a DJ. If he's a professional in what he does, you have to leave him to do what he do, you know? The thing we can accommodate is a request where you say, maybe it's my mom's birthday, that's okay, we can do that. But sometimes people want to dominate your playlist.
Yes.
And when you change your playlist, it could be sometimes bad, because the DJ's job is to ensure your dance floor is full. And if he's going to accommodate your playlist, your personal playlist that you love at home, and he tries to play it on a dance floor where you've got a crowd, and if the dance floor gets empty, it's his problem to fill up the dance floor again. So in most cases, I would tell people is to just trust the guy that you're hiring to do a great job. Yeah,
absolutely. That's such a good point, because often you've seen, you know, the dance floor's buzzing, and you get one lady or gentleman that goes and requests a song,
Yeah.
and the next minute they're all gone.
They're all gone.
They might not like that particular song.
Yeah.
So, as I say, you've got to judge the mood and you've got to judge the vibe. And okay, in your music business, it can't be a one-man show.
Yes.
Tell us about your team.
So, very much family-based. I've got my wife Sheila. She's the anchor in the business. You know, she takes care of all the bookings we have. She takes care of all the business. She does the sales of all tickets. She does all the contracts. And if anyone wants to speak business, they would go to her.
Okay.
She's like the most important part of the business. And I think if you don't have a proper head on the table, then that's where most of us fail. Because sometimes in the DJ world, you find a DJ wants to be the guy that does the contracts. He has to promote the gig. He's got so much things to do. And we probably done that when we were younger.
Okay.
And as life goes on, you get to know that if you are a DJ, you need to focus just on DJ. I'm sure like with a trainer focuses on being a trainer and he's got a different person running his admin.
Correct.
And you flourish in the skill that you have. So you don't have to worry about selling tickets on this side, worry about who's sitting in VIP, who's going to be there.
Yeah.
You've got one person dealing with that. And then I've got my two kids. My daughter works with my wife Sheila. They basically take care of the management part. And then I've got my son who's also a DJ.
Okay.
So between the two of us, our only worry is the sound system, the entertainment for the evening, and just ensuring people are having a good time. So it makes it much easier, yeah.
Having done myself 12 years in the hospitality industry, which I know is quite well similar to the entertainment industry, but you're dealing with people. It can be difficult dealing with people because there are so many wonderful people out there, but there also are some difficult customers. How do you handle that?
I think you just apply humbleness, eh? Sometimes you do get hot people that comes and they just blow off. And sometimes you're killing them by using kindness and just trying to do your best to accommodate them. You know, my mom always says, let someone be ugly to you and not you to them. So I think that's key. You know, sometimes when I found that in most cases when people were ugly to us, when you just use kindness, you see a different part.
Yeah, that is sure. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful words of wisdom. That's so true. Kill them with kindness.
Yeah, kill them with kindness.
Radio work. I mean, are you still actively involved with radio stations? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started probably about 15 or 16 years ago. I was involved with few radio stations around South Africa, and I was fortunate that some of them were big radio stations. I was at 94.2 in Joburg, and I was on Kaya FM, and then about a year or two ago, I just finished up at Jacaranda FM, and I had almost 9 to 10 years that I spent at Jacaranda FM.
Okay, sure.
And I think when I got to that 10th year, you know, I just started having bigger dreams. I'm a very challenging person. I don't want to have a comfort zone, so I want to be challenged. You know, I think radio became to me, at that point of my life, it just became so easy for me because I could put myself in any situation and get out of it very fast. From the broadcasting point of view, from setting up the sound systems and things like that you need to do when you broadcast live, it just became too easy for me, and I was unchallenged. You know, I could walk into the studio 2 minutes late, and I would be on point. You know, so I needed a challenge, and that was to just move on in the music industry.
Okay. Let's go from music to horses now. You explained, you know, about with your folks going to the races and, you know, having the pick six and the PA and all that sort of thing, but it's clearly cranked up a lot, your racing interest. You've got horses in training, you've got a syndicate, etc., partners. But at what stage of your life did you say, well, okay, I want to go more into the racing industry? I
think it was a dream probably at a time when I started realizing that my parents don't know the other side of the game. And that's probably about I'd say 25 years ago. It was a dream then that I want to see the other side of the game. I want to know what happens with the trainer taking a horse in the morning. How do they get those horses? I mean, it starts off at a stud farm. Trainer gets it afterwards, goes through its training process, and just the hype of how this horse gets to make it to that final day of having this debut. it's like a present that you bought from the start, and you've got to package this thing up so beautifully that that day when you present it to the people, that's the story that I never heard of, and I couldn't find that much content about it, so I could research it. And I guess the dream was stepping over, and the only way I was going to find out was to get involved with a horse.
Any regrets?
No. I love this game. I think DJ is probably one of my number one, and horses would come second. I think it's just a passion for the game. You go through so much stressful moments in your life. As soon as you get to the track and you look at these horses, it just releases a different energy in you.
It does.
So you'll become a better person every time you leave the horses, you know.
Yeah.
So my wife's too happy to send me to go and check out, because, you know, when I get back, it's a better guy, you know. She also gets money out of me when I come back from there. So
How many horses have you got in training? And I say you don't have to answer that, because many years ago I sat with somebody and I said, how many horses have you got in training? He said, impossible to tell you, my wife will murder me. I've got so many. So you don't have to. I know some people like to keep that confidential, but how many do you have in training? Or
I think we've got about 14 horses at the moment.
Okay.
And wife is very good at it. She doesn't know when we buy them, but she'll catch up on the names, and she starts, and this one, and this one,
Okay.
and that one at this stable, so she knows them. She basically knows all the horses. And I think what I'm trying to do right now with the 14 horses I have is try to involve a lot of new blood into the game, in which I've done so successfully. It's just to get more people to understand the game and understand it's actually a game that can change your life, you know,
Yeah.
just change your whole views.
so DJ Jazzy D Racing is registered as a syndicate, is it?
No.
It's not, it's a,
No, it's not registered as a syndicate. It's just me and my son that's running everything.
Okay.
But I guess that's where the future lies.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
Is to build it up in a syndicate. Right now, it's just getting more people in, letting them understand the game. Yeah.
You know that I have spoken about it before, with regards to syndication, and I've told the story, and I would like to keep telling the story, because for me that's the way to go. You know, I was approached by two people, two youngsters, that their opening statement to me was, well, it's impossible to own a share in a racehorse. And I said, hang on, stop,
Yeah.
right there. It's not impossible. And I explained, you know, about all of that, and they only took, each youngster took 5% in a racehorse, and to this day I still get phone calls from those two youngsters to say, wow, you know, this is another world. Thank you.
Most definitely.
It can happen to all of us, and that really warms my heart, because that is what we're trying to do. That's what we want to do.
Exactly.
That it is affordable and it is accessible to absolutely anybody, and that's obviously what you're trying to prove as well.
Most definitely. I think we need new blood, you know. Sometimes you find these guys that can come into the game, could play an integral role in the future of the game. I think what we always want to achieve is promoting this game, getting on a higher stage, getting more bigger crowds to come and watch and fall in love with the thoroughbred, and also see how good South African thoroughbreds are doing worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got top quality jockeys, top quality trainers, top quality breeders, top quality grooms. 14 horses, all with one trainer, or have you got mixed?
No, you know, when I got involved with horses, I initially started off thinking one trainer was the way to go. I've changed my views as I thought, you know, the more trainers I can have, the different experiences I can have. So I've got horses in Port Elizabeth, Durban, as well as Joburg.
Okay.
Cape Town's the only area which I'm still working on.
Other businesses, we know you're in the music entertainment industry, but that's it. You don't have any other business interests?
So I do music production.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I do every day of my life. It's music production. It's finding songs, giving it a different sound. You know, whether it be a Freddie Mercury, whether it be Michael Jackson, just taking their songs, remixing it, giving it a different sound, and introducing it to the youth. You know, sometimes you'll find like you've got to find ways of getting to someone, but you won't get to them by playing them a song from the 70s unless you take that song and you bring it to the future and give it a different sound, and that's when they simply have a different view of it. You know, I think that's the same with racing, is when you get younger people involved with the game, they'll introduce different ways of reaching the youth that a lot of us have not been thinking about, So production is a key thing to me.
Your own music, you of course write your own music.
Yeah.
I mean, that just doesn't, you can't just pick up a pen and paper and start writing. I mean, how do you zone yourself in? How do you set yourself up? And tell us about that, because that must take a lot of time, maybe.
Not actually. Creativity, it's such a natural thing. You could sit and hear a melody from a very old song, and you could steal that melody and you can put it back on loop, and you can just write stuff from that loop that's going to play for about 8 seconds, but it will be continuous, so you can create a lot of things from there. Creativity is very easy if you are in this position where you're feeling something. You got to feel it. Like, I could be in a taxi or I could be in an Uber. As soon as I take out my phone and Shazam, I want to hear what was playing.
Okay.
And then I'll go home and then I'll check my Shazam list and I find, okay, this song I was listening to, and I'll go on YouTube, listen to it. I'll buy the song off from Spotify and then just work on that melody and see what we can do. Creativity,
It's the funniest thing. The other day I said to a cousin of mine, we were in a party, a company, and I said to my cousin, I said, did you hear that chap's voice? Did you hear him speak? Yeah. He said, not at all. I mean, why should I listen to the way he speaks? And obviously, I like to listen to the way people speak, because a good voice, if you play golf and you go and see a new club that's been released, a golf club, and it's a good club, you get excited. You look for the good clubs.
Yes.
I mean, we're in the entertainment world. We listen for good voices. And you must get that in the, for singers and music. You must think, wow, that's a good voice, or that's not a voice for singing. It's you appreciate good and bad voices, I suppose.
Most definitely. Sometimes when I hear a good voice, immediate tears will be part of the journey.
Yes.
And the cold showers. If I get tears rolling, then I know she's got it.
Yeah.
Just talking about music, there's a lady which I found. Her name is Marishelle, she's an Afrikaans singer, and I told her, listen, you need to do an English song, but we want to try and give you a jazz sound, which is never ever done in her life.
Okay.
And we done the song. The song's named after one of, The Horse Wonderful is named after the song.
Okay.
And we've got over 1 million views on the song on YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I must make a note of that and go and listen. So your horses, obviously, you do with My Lady Soul, Wonderful. You try and name them
after the songs, yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic.
I'm just trying to bring my music into it, and I think naming of a horse is such an important thing,
Yes.
I sit with my partners every day and I tell them, listen, I sometimes like it when a name comes up immediately, because that is spur of the moment.
Correct.
And then also just doing little research about that name. It has to mean something to you.
Yeah.
If it means something to you, that's where you get attached to a horse, So it's always a problem where you have to think, because sometimes, like few horses we got at this moment, it's been 3 months. I'm still waiting for the Sylvesters to send me the horse's name. So
Your first gig, you were very young.
Yeah.
How old were you when you did your first?
Age of 14.
14?
Yes.
I mean, you must look back, and I see judging by the smile on your face, you look back and that must have been a huge achievement.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know if I was really great that day, but I felt good, because it was at the same place, Bel Air, my uncle's place. My brother was also a DJ there. Both him and my uncle were not there. And I was there, and the club was full, 1,000 people. It was a matinee. And I've never touched this equipment, but I always seen what they did. So that day when I touched it for the first time, but I knew exactly what they were doing, what buttons they were pressing. I don't know if I messed it up, but I felt good walking home with everybody, and they were just like cheering me on. I don't know, I think I messed it up, but what it done for me personally was enough to say the bug is bitten,
Yes, yeah, sure. Yeah. And you must be an incredible journey when you look at that evening to where you are today. I mean, and how things have really blossomed and spiraled out of control in a great way,
Most definitely. I think, everyone has to set a goal for yourself. This is things that I never know as a youngster about following a dream and just looking at expanding your dream, and never just limit yourself, Don't look at a place where you're going to stop. Find a place where you could go to infinity. There's no stopping in this game. The same with the horse racing. There's no stopping in the game. Everybody wants a champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Winners, how many wins have you racked up in those colours?
I think maybe 9 or 10. I'm not so sure. Hey, I got to get my son on that one, but but I'm very chuffed at having those winners. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a lot of guys. I've got a friend of mine's. He's got something like 6 or 7 horses, and he tells me sometimes he goes through a dry spell. In years he doesn't have winners, not even run third or fourth. I mean, look at these partners of mine that got involved, the Sylvesters. I brought them into a horse. The horse had its next run. I had a horse which ran 2 bad runs. As soon as these guys came in, the horse won 2 in a row for me.
Sure, okay.
So very lucky owners. And then I recently had a horse called Ibiza Night, which will probably be sold with Cart Puller. And there was a piece involved. One of the partners wanted to get out. I told them to get in. As soon as they got in, the horse won. First time for them. So
the industry is not always about gambling, but obviously betting and punting is part of it. Do you enjoy a flutter?
Yeah, I guess mostly when you own the horse and you look at all the form lines. If you study form lines, you're looking at the handicap. You know you've met this horse on better terms, or you're on a track that you know favors your horse. If everything goes for your horse, you've got the right jockey, and things just seems like it's going to go as planned, then I don't mind if it's my horse. Yes, we go out there, we want to make money, so we can take the money and go buy another one. You know, I always tell God, listen here, if we win, we can go buy another one. And sometimes you use the money that you get from here to go look for your next champion.
Transparency is what it's all about. And I get criticized sometimes for keep saying that, but I'm going to keep saying it because I believe it's what it's all about. Yesterday at the races at Hollywood Bet Scottsville, asked Tristan Godden his next best ride. He said it was the horse in the listed race, Julie won. I'm not saying that they all win. It's an honest opinion. You make it very public. You want the people to win. You put it out on Facebook. This is what you believe. This is what you've been told. And I think that's outstanding.
Yeah, I guess that's a different part of the game. You know, I think there's a lot of owners that are in this game just purely for the punt part of it. And there is others that are driven with having a champion. You know, being a public man and trying to get more people involved with the game. When I put things up on my social media, probably 85% of my followers don't know anything about horse racing. I'll give you an example. I had a pensioner. She put a 300 rand on one of our horses where she won 10 grand.
Sure.
The horse was 33 to 1. And she was chuffed at this, you know. So that 300 rand just turned out to be mega bucks for her, and she was very happy at that. And it didn't hurt me. It didn't cause any obstruction in any way. So I think there is owners that's probably sometimes don't want people to know when their horse is at a big price, afraid to lose the price. I would suggest to them, if you've had a bet and you know you've taken your bet, there's nothing wrong with getting the public on. I think the more people know about the game, the more they probably fall in love and follow the game. Yes. So I try to do that as much as I can, you know, and the more, sometimes when we do get it right, you won't always get it right, but you can be transparent and say, listen, the horse is doing well, or maybe the distance is not suited, or we've got a better jockey on, we've got a good draw. Give them all this information so that when they make their decision, it's things and information that they don't know.
Correct.
The horse's well-being, if the horse is eating up.
Yes, that's, as you said, not information that would be available in the race card, in the official race card. So any additional behind-the-scenes information that can be given would be a huge aid to them.
Most def. I think that's the way to go, you know. I think on behalf of you guys' side, you guys should actually play this fun competition where you get trainers and jockeys involved and even owners and say, listen, let's create a scorecard for the year and see how many have you tipped the public, you know. Yes. I mean, if you've got jockeys that are transparent and that gives out this information, just have it, let it be a fun exercise. Yes. And eventually it becomes much easier where one guy wants to beat that guy for tipping this one, and you know, it just becomes fun and games, and the public is the winner, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Jazzy, the season, we've just wrapped up the KZN Champions season and the official season. Any highlights for you from, you know, your business perspective, your racing interest perspective, and just in general?
Yes, there's been so many. Hey, I think every time I have a runner, I fly out from Pretoria to come this side here And just being here, spending time with the horse in the parade ring, I think the build-up, when you get in that parade ring and you see your competition, this one's looking up your horse, everyone's looking at the challenges. I look forward to that moment every time. I think there's just a nice adrenaline. You're walking with your trainer to the grandstand, go watch the race, the horse go down. There's every moment, doesn't really matter what race it is, you know. But one thing I can say is I'm really looking forward to that moment where an opportunity be given to us that's in the entertainment industry to change the views of how racing people see the game in their marketing fields, and using some of the marketing strategies that we have to bring clouds. I'll give you a very good example. I think it was 2010. Pumalela came to me and they needed to get, I think it was 10,000 people on the track for the Summer Cup. And I think that was the first year, it was probably the first year where, what's this, Marcus Eustace guys that was sponsoring?
Steinhoff?
Yeah, they got involved. And I think they gave me something like 3 or 4 weeks to get 10,000 people to the track. And I brought all my musicians together and we managed to do it, you know. And that was 2010. So a lot has happened after that.
Yes.
You know, you arm yourself with certain skills. Social media has been blowing up, so there's different strategies of marketing. And I think that racing needs to look at people that's involved in the game and see how you can get them, you know, to give their views of marketing. I'm sure there's different divisions, but getting all those people together and just adding something to work with the marketing things and bringing these big crowds. I mean, I just don't want to see big crowds on Durban July Day and these big races.
Yes.
What about normal days?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the more we can do that and imply different ways of bringing people to the track, the better.
Listening to your story, you're a busy man. How do you, first of all, when do you find time to relax and what do you do to relax?
I don't actually have time for relaxing. Listen, it's always between music and horse racing. So the music will always come first because I've got to make sure that, depends where I'm performing at, I have to learn about the area where I'm going to, learn about the type of music they love, and also be well prepared so that I deliver a different set. And then as soon as I'm done with the music, I then go into the racing part, look at norms, and I'll send trainers messages. I see there's a nice 1600 coming up here. It's just a suggestion for you to look at. You make the final decision. And yeah, me and Gart, we have that conversations quite often. You know, I'll tell him, listen, I like these 2 races here. What do you think? And most of the time, we on par. You know, then Gart would tell me, I've already nominated. You have to make time for it. I never get that much time to sleep. I think my body's programmed for a 4-hour rest every day. I go to bed at 4 in the morning. And I'll be up at 9 again, you know, and the day just goes on. But I've got so much energy, and I just feel like sometimes you got so much time, you must make use of it.
Yes.
And that time, when you decide you want to retire, you can switch off all those things. You know, right now I think I've still got a body that can take me a couple of years more to.
So that's.
To go.
I'm glad you mentioned that because late nights, early mornings, call it what you like. It's not easy, so you've got to be able to, when it's time to shut down, you've got to have a quick sleep and up again, and you've as you've mentioned, you've become used to that now. That's the way of life. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at normally, sometimes when you have a gig on a Friday and you end around about 4 in the morning, you'll be flying out 7 o'clock the next morning. You have a power nap on the plane for an hour. That's all you need for a recharge, you know.
Okay.
And you get back home, then you have to prepare for the next gig. That's just how life is. I've been doing this for over 30 odd years, and I'm fond of it, you know. But I at least got good wifey at home will ensure that a lot of things are in place, health-wise, rest-wise. She'll dose me with a sleeping tablet if she has to. She's got tricks. So.
Obviously, you're a public figure. You're a public person, and you know, you're never going to keep the public happy all the time. It's impossible to please everybody all of the time. And a lot of people I speak to that are in the public light have learned to accept that. Hard to accept that at first, but you just have to accept it because it's impossible. Nobody, I think, in the world can keep everybody happy all the time. But if you get stopped in Woolies or at Pick and Pay, or it's you might be feeling a little down because we're also human beings. You're also a human being, and you might not want to engage with somebody at that moment. It's hard. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I guess you know, it fits the bill. You know, if you had a dream from a young age that you want to reach a specific goal, you have to train yourself from a young age, knowing that whatever you do in public or wherever you be in public, you're going to be put in situations where it's not going to be you. But you have to put on that bright face. You know, those are people that supported you from day one. Sometimes you've changed their lives, you've had an impact on their life, and they don't want to see you down. You know, sometimes they lift you up when you're down, and they don't know it in turn. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that bad days, just like you said, you know, you had a bad day, you come, you see the presenters here, and they're all hyped up. Hey, you heard about this and this. So you feed off energy you get from people. You know, I do have that a lot. You know, I think I probably have it every day at home with the family, but they beat me up properly. Eh? But like I said, you know, sometimes you just got to know that the guys that support you every day, and I'm fortunate that I have a lot of people that love what I do, and I believe that if you do find yourself in a situation where someone's putting you or making you out to be an ugly person, just run away, get out of it.
Do you have a favorite song that you like to listen to? Do you have a favorite artist? I mean, what music do you listen to, barring your own music? I mean, do you listen to your own music? You know, you talk to people that are doctors, and you know, a friend of mine's son said to me the other day, he said, you know, I was feeling so ill, my dad's a doctor. I said, Dad, what are we going to do? I mean, I'm going to him for help. He said, I'll just take a Panado, you'll be fine. You know, I mean, so do you listen to your own music?
Yeah, well, I only listen to it when I'm in studio,
Okay.
and that's the truth. When I produce a song, I could listen to that song for 8 hours consecutively, and my family would be pulling their heads. My daughter's room is right next to my studio. She'll always like, I know the words of the song. It's not released yet, but I know the words, you know. But I think that's just being a perfectionist. When I am in studio, I would listen to my own production. But normally, I'd prefer to listen to the old school sounds. I'm very old school related, you know. Everything I hear from the old school is what influences my life for the future, bringing the old stuff back right now. And once I get stuck into music, I just become a different person. I actually lose the audience, you know. I'll be sitting with Shazam in an Uber, and Shazam, every track that I hear that I love, I'll Shazam it so that I know when I go home, my homework is go and check your Shazam list to see which songs you listen to, download those songs. And if I see a song that's nice or my battery is dead, I'll ask my wife to Shazam it for me or screenshot, send me the name, I need this name. And it would be such a mission just to get home and go and listen to it and see what they've done in their production, you know. I look at the back part of music. So a lot of us, we just listen to music. I listen to the pianos, the brasses, the bass, the guitars. I listen to all those things, the percussion behind these tracks, how was it created? Because that is what makes you different. And you find out exactly how those guys did it. So for me, it's very easy now to take any song from the old school, listen to it and reproduce it to exactly how they done it. Because I'll take the song and I'll just basically make a duplicate of it so that I know exactly what procedure these guys followed when they done it. And then I would take it the way they done it and give it a more nice sound to it. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So just to change everything in a song. I guess that's what I love doing,
We were talking earlier on about voices, and you would, knowing the professional and perfectionist that you are, you obviously listen to a lot of people speaking, you listen to a lot of music, and I found that the youth of today, and I say it respectfully, I mean, we've got our young kids and all the rest of it, words seem to, you know, Twitter becomes Twitter, spaghetti becomes spaghetti, doesn't that drive you mad?
Yeah, they have their own lingo, eh? They have their own lingo. I'm fortunate that for me, most of the followers that I have is your elderly, mature people. So they are my level. You know, I don't meet so much about the youth, because when they start speaking, I mean, if you go to Cape Town, when those guys start speaking, you're like, can you have subtitles when you speak?
Somebody's also bumped into somebody at the race and they said, "Oh, I'm here. I'm here to do as much betting as possible." I said, "You have to do what?" "No, as much betting as possible." "Oh," I said, "You mean you're here to do betting, B-E-T-T-I-N-G, no D, betting." But that's always just a bit of a chuckle that we have. Your journey, sure, having read up, it's just been an incredible journey thus far. But looking forward, what can we look forward to?
Well, I want to touch the world right now, you know. I was fortunate that in March we decided to do a tour to Australia and New Zealand.
Yes.
We done 5 shows in Australia and 1 show in New Zealand.
How were they received?
Fantastic. We were sold out. All the shows were
Okay.
sold out. And we decided we're going to go back there, but we want to get bigger venues, try to attract bigger crowds. And I think the dream right now is believing that if you think you are good enough, you need to reach the world. And also all these artists' music that I'm reproducing from the 70s and 80s, I want to present the remix which I have done to them so that they could listen to it and I could possibly have that opportunity to work with them directly instead of getting one of my artists. So what I do is when I find a song from the 80s, I would then change the whole production of the song, but then I'll get one of my South African artists to sing the song over. And I think the mission right now is not to get someone to sing it over, but using the original artist.
Okay.
And that's where the music is probably going to lead me, you know,
Okay, sure.
meeting up with these people. And also, you know, sometimes this is just a big thing in South Africa. I think a lot of us just look up to international artists and musicians, but we never have the opportunity to believe that we could be good enough to challenge the world, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good point.
And because I grew up with this music, they're always going to be heroes to me. But right now, if I believe I'm good enough, I need to show the world that I'm good enough, you know. And my music is starting to get noticed around the world. I'm getting a lot of hits in the USA, UK, Germany, Spain, France, all those people. So I looked at my stats and we started looking at the countries. On a top 10 list, I think Australia and New Zealand was sitting at number 9 and number 8.
Okay.
And those were the first 2 countries that we went to, and we were very successful. So hopefully as the year goes on, we're gonna tap into some new countries. I know from this Australian and New Zealand tour that's coming up in August, we will be going to the UK and see which countries will follow from there. So yeah, I guess the dream is just to get the world to hear what you can do. And if it's successful, it will be the best achievement ever, you know.
That's exciting, and that's certainly something that we can all look forward to, you know, and we'll follow that with great interest. But let's not fool ourselves to, you know, in life, our journeys always, we face struggles, we face challenges. You know, what challenges had you faced along the way? Or?
I've had so many challenges, Warren. If I must tell you, I was at a point in my life about 11 years ago where sheriff came and just emptied the whole house. You know what I'm saying? Things were going bad. The music industry wasn't working out. You put yourself in a situation where you're at rock bottom, you know, and you have to find ways of changing your life from there. Where you know there's just no hope. You know, but I'm a very faithful guy. I've got God on my side, and everything I do right now is applying Him, you know. And with all the challenges I've had, He's lifted me up and put me in better places, given me back multiple what I had, you know. If I look at where I was in the past, when the sheriff came knocking, I had 2 vehicles, luxury vehicles, and I was paying something like 10 grand a month on them, you know. I think when God took me out of the situation I ended up owning vehicles where I bought these vehicles cash.
Yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Just things can change. It's just your faith and how you believe that things can change.
Okay.
If you're going to have a negative attitude in life, I guess negative's going to stick with you, you know. I think a lot of people sometimes don't want to hear it, but I can tell you that God is a life changer for me. So He's changed my life dramatically, and I believe that He's going to bring me a champion. One of these days, I'm going to have a superstar.
In those blue and black silks. How did you design the blue and, I mean, I know the emblem, etc., but the blue and it's blue and black, isn't it?
Yes, it's blue and black.
Just colors that you like? Or?
So blue refers to the sky. Sky
Right.
is
The limit?
Yeah. So that's kind of it, and I just love the black. So very spiritual.
You were determined to be in the music industry. It was never going to be anything else. Is that right?
Nothing else. I don't think I had the skill set. You look, back in the days, my parents were factory workers, you know, so we also had that limited thinking of, you know, there's not going to be money for you for college. And because music was a first love, you know, my parents had money to take us to the OK Bazaar to go and buy a 7-inch single record, you know. Those years you had great artists, South African artists like the Brenda Fassies, Ozila, Pet Shange, guys, Mercy Pakela, you know, names. I grew up with South African artists. And having that opportunity where music was planted in your soul from a young age, you know, it's just like you were meant for this and there's nothing else that I can do. If people speak to me today about music and horses, I know I can sit and have a conversation with them. Yeah. As soon as we go to another direction, it's going to become tougher. Then my wifey will step in. She's great in that departments.
Future owners, we were talking during our show about the youngsters or anybody that wants to get involved in horses. It doesn't necessarily have to be youngsters, but what if somebody came to you and said, you know, I want to get involved in horses, I want to become an owner, I want to become a shareholder, what advice would you give them?
You know, the first thing I always get when I put up a post, I'll give you this here. Every time I put up a partnership proposal to people get involved with a horse, the first thing they ask me, how's my profits? How's my profits going to be? And I say, listen, stop right there. If you want to get involved with horse racing, look at it as a sport that's going to bring your family together. Because I look at myself for the past 2 years, I've never had the opportunity to get my family together. When we have racing in Joburg, my entire family is there. My mom, my brothers, my sisters, and we've never had that opportunity. Since my dad passed away, we will have gatherings, but it won't be 100%. But when we have racing, they're there, you know what I'm saying? And you must look at racing as that memories that you're going to spend with loved ones. And you're going to have sadness, you're going to have happiness. The great part is, you know, when you're driving to the course, we're excited to see our horse run. And if your horse ran bad, you'll be sad and everybody will be sad. It's all those emotions you go through. Yes. You can't put a price to it.
No.
So I tell a lot of people that if you want to get involved with the sport, right, go with the idea of getting your family together, sharing memories. And if you're lucky, you might get a champion, a horse that's going to take you over. It's going to take you to places and it will just do wonders to you. You know, sometimes when you have a little bit of happiness in your life, you'll see that happiness that you get would make you flourish in other areas that you were lacking at, you know. So I don't look, even though we do invest money, I don't sometimes look at it from that point of view, thinking that I want to get rich in this game. Yeah. I mean, we bought the horse for 20 grand and the horse won us stakes. We got 80-something thousand rand in stakes about 2 months later. So it was a good investment. Sometimes you can look at a horse and you can go, listen, let's buy this horse, win a race, and then sell it, see if we can get a profit. Yes. But if you want to get involved with this game, do it to get your family together. Go with the kids, go with mom and dad and everyone. Let them go and see the horse run in the morning and see the build-up of how you building up this athlete to come to that one big point in its life where it's going to be on a big stage, have its first race, and you're going to be there and you're going to be so happy whether this horse runs last or it wins the race. You know, it's just about being there at that moment, experiencing all these highs and lows that this horse's game does.
We laughed the other day because you mentioned the first question they ask is how much money can we make, etc.
Yeah.
And I'm talking from a hobby perspective, you know, not from running a business, from a hobby perspective. And I said to my one mate who plays indoor soccer, I said, how much money do you make out of playing indoor soccer? He said, no, not at all. It costs me money, you know, but I so enjoy it. Yeah. My cousin's a big golfer. I said, when you go to the golf clubs every week, you're spending thousands of rands. How much profit do you make? He said, not at all. I'm paying for my entertainment. I said, that's what we do in racing. Yeah. We're paying for our entertainment. You know, it's our hobby. You know, you go and spend 10 grand a month on golf, well, playing golf and you don't make a profit. Well, we spend whatever it is on horses, we don't make a profit. Maybe we do, as you say, if you find a good horse, you catch the pick six, but that's not that's not what we're doing it for. That's also an important message to pass out there, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that's the future owners, but now advice to future owners. Let's talk about, and we're nearly in the home straight now and coming to the end of our discussion, and we could sit here for another 3 hours, but we simply can't because time is of the essence. But now in the music industry and in the entertainment industry, for a youngster that comes up to you and says, Jazzy, tell me, this is what I want to do, what's your advice there in that field?
The first thing I would advise the youngsters is to find someone that can support you and manage you. Because when I was young, I was a jack of all trades. I used to go to venues. I used to actually look for people that are hosting parties and asking them, can I please play music for them? I used to set up the sound system. I used to do the marketing. I became so much focused on all the other things and gave 10% to my talent.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So you break yourself up in so many different divisions, then you don't focus on the prime thing, which is your talent. If you find someone that can manage all of that for you, and you can give 100% to your career and just focus on your talent, that's where you will flourish. That is the one mistake that I made when I was young, and I only got to learn about that when I became about 15 or 16 years later, when I started growing up in this game.
Well, we've had an audience here today, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. You've only seen and heard DJ Jazzy and myself, but behind us, behind the scenes, is
the millions.
Is there?
The millions.
The millions. We've got friends and family that have accompanied Jazzy to this interview today, and it's just been a great pleasure to have them in our presence and to have Jazzy in our presence. And all that's left for me to really say is to hear your story, and I know we've only just scratched the surface, and it's such a longer story, and we could have, as I said, made a series on your story and on your life. But thank you for your passion for the horse racing industry and all that you do for it, your passion for the entertainment industry, and your humbleness, and all from Gold Circle and from the In the Box Seat podcast. We really just wish you and your family all the very best.
Thank you for having me, and I hope the guys are going to follow my colors. I think we're going to have a good season. We've got nice babies coming up. So, yeah, to the racing public out there, I just want to say thank you to everybody. And also, just to give them the heads up, when you see me at a racetrack, don't be scared to walk up to me and ask me if we got a chance. I really don't mind it. I actually love telling people.
Well, please take DJ Jazzy up on his offer. And we all have goals and dreams, and I don't normally mention people by name, but these two in particular I want to, because it's part of the story.
Yeah.
We've sat and we've had a podcast with Sid Mudley,
yeah,
who's told us about his dream and his passion. And I've sat with him on winners' boxes and feature race stages, and look back and you feel that warm, fuzzy feeling. Kelly Haddon's another one who's, came into the industry also wanting to have a little share in a horse, and to stand with her on the stage on Hollywood Bets Durban July Day when she won a race. Those are priceless moments. And my dream and my goal is to stand with any owner, but the show is today about DJ Jazzy D. I hope to one day stand on the big stage with you and be doing an interview and look back and saying, remember that day we sat in the suite? Well, here you are on the big stage.
Thank you very much. I receive.
That's a wrap from all of us. It's been great. It really has been great. And follow DJ Jazzy D on all the social media platforms. You don't need to know how to work social media platforms. You know where to go, what to look for. And let's follow this journey together. For each and every one of you out there, thank you for your support. Thank you for your love of horse racing. And let's go from strength to strength. That's a wrap from us. Let's hope Andrew Harrison's back with me next week. And we'll see what you do next week, whether it'll be in Summerfeld or whether it'll be here at Hollywood Bets Durban. But as always, we'll see you in the number one box.